Morning again, Muttonistas, it's the Prime Mutton here again, and today I'm continuing my African adventure. Now, for those of you who watched my safari video / half disaster yesterday, thankfully we didn't see that many predatory animals, so if they're not going to come to us, we're going to go to them. So join me today for my vlog on crocodiles, rivers and waterfalls. So, whilst we went to the river yesterday, we didn't actually see any crocodiles. We did see some hippos, but we found a solution to this problem, which is to come to the crocodiles at the Victoria Falls Crocodile Farm. And I believe there might be a few snakes here as well. So we've entered via the souvenir shop where we paid the entrance fee, which is $15 US. Handing a $20 note has caused a rush over to try and find $5 change from somewhere. Remember folks, keep those small dollar bills when you visit Zimbabwe. So here we are, we started at the nursery.
So this is a crocodile hatched in December.
Wow, December, so a month old. And look at those sharp teeth already. I'm not going to get too close to it because I'm partial to the end of my fingers.
So at this age they're really vulnerable. They're actually preyed upon by eagles, baboons, and actually the big crocodiles eat the small crocodiles.
Ah, I didn't know that. So it helps if mummy's around to scare people off.
The babies for 3 months. After 3 months it's each man for himself.
So I guess... Oh, he's trying to roll you there. I guess very few of these make it to adulthood.
From 60 or 70 eggs, maybe 2 or 3 will make it into adulthood.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it is hot today, I suppose. 40 snakes from 20 countries. Presumably most of them venomous.
Yes, most of them venomous.
Well, so here we are.
So this is what we call the water moccasin or the cottonmouth. So it's called the cottonmouth because when it gets angry and aggressive, when it opens its mouth, the inside of the mouth is completely white. Hence the name cottonmouth. It's the only semi-aquatic viper in the world.
Ah, and where would that be? I have a feeling that might be North American, is it? Yeah, North America, yeah.
Yes. It lives in something. It's got what we call cytotoxic venom. Cytotoxic venom affects the red blood cells and causes tissue damage. And then here we've got a Gabon viper. Gabon viper is native to our country, found in the eastern islands.
It's got very good camouflage.
And then here we've got the Burmese albino python from Burma. It's a constrictor, which means it's not non-venomous. It depends on coiling around its prey to kill, so it does not eat any venom. Here we've got the forest cobra.
Forest cobra?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Found in eastern Zimbabwe, South Africa and Mozambique. Grows up to 2.5 meters. It's got neurotoxins as well. Deadly poisonous.
And does this cobra spit or?
This is a non-spitting.
Non-spit.
And then here we've got the western diamondback rattlesnake from California, Texas. Found in the deserts. You can actually see the rattle there. Deadly poison.
I've seen them in a lot of Western movies.
Yes. And then here we've got the banded snouted cobra, widely distributed in southern Africa. Deadly venomous, and it's a non-spitting cobra.
Okay.
So snouted cobras, this is the banded face. You can see the two colors, a navy bluish color and a yellowish color there.
Okay, because people mainly associate cobras with India and Southeast Asia, but it seems there is a bigger variety of cobras in Africa than in Asia.
Actually, the Egyptian cobra, this is the Egyptian cobra. It's actually from Africa.
Okay.
Yes. And then here we've got more Gabon vipers.
Yeah, oh, very well. I can see how on the floor of the jungle it might be very hard to see,
Yes,
and you might step on it.
Usually found in the in the leafy forest area where there's the dry leaves, it blends it. So it actually makes a puffing sound to warn you.
Presumably, the snake basically wants to stay away from you. Yeah.
That's why the rattlesnake is a rat. That's to warn. But then if it's something it actually eats, it won't make a sound.
Well, people don't realise, I think, that snakes are needed to control the population of things like rats.
The snakes are misunderstood. If you get to understand them, you get to love them. I was also scared of them, especially this one. This snake is actually harmless, but then by the size of it, this is a black red snake.
Yeah.
But then judging by the length of it, it's actually intimidating people.
It looks as if it would be venomous, because it's not like the python.
Other constrictors, but then it's actually non-venomous. You can actually handle this one. This is our spitter.
Ah.
The Mozambican spitting cobra, spitting accurately for about 3 meters.
Wow.
Really missing. So you can see the spittle on the glass there.
Oh gosh, yes. Wow.
Widely distributed in southern Africa, but then usually South Africa, Zimbabwe and Mozambique.
I have to say, the spitters are the ones that scare me the most. The others, you can get an anti-venom if you're in a populated area, or you can just make sure you step well away from them. This, it can spit from so far away that your eyes might be in absolute agony, and I believe in some cases you could get blinded.
This is, we can see it's semi-poisonous. You may get nausea, headache, but then you will not die.
Bit like COVID, really.
Yes. Also this on the RUFOUS beaked snake. Oh, this is also semi-poisonous. So this is a burrowing snake. You can see by the shape of the legs. We've got the puff adder, responsible for 60% of the snake fatalities that we have here in Zimbabwe.
Wow.
Because of the camouflage, you can really see it. So you can actually step on it.
Okay.
But then it does make a sound, a puffing sound.
Are any of these snakes actually aggressive, and do they come after you?
This one is usually vipers. They do not come after you because the vipers you can see by the triangular head, and they're short. And their locomotion is they use the caterpillar locomotion, which means they're very slow. So they will actually depend on the camouflage and staying very still. So that they're hoping that you might not see them. That's why then you usually step on them because you can't see them. This is the DUNEROS ground boar from Madagascar. This is actually one of the best pets you can have. It's harmless and quite friendly. And this fella here, this is a BOOMSLANG.
Now, I would have guessed incorrectly that was a green mamba, but how would you tell the difference between a BOOMSLANG and a green mamba?
The shape of the head. A mamba has got a coffin-shaped head, and this one you can see is not quite coffin-shaped, and it's actually small. And also the smile of a mamba is very, very long. When it closes its mouth, and the eyes, those ones are too rounded and big.
Fantastic camouflage, though.
And then you can actually also tell by the scales. You can see this in between the scales. You can see a blackish color. A mamba is completely green. It doesn't have those black markings, and it's a beautiful green. When you look at a green mamba, it's a beautiful green. We're gonna see it. And here we've got the vine snake, looking like a twig.
Wow, I couldn't even see it at first. That of all the snakes we've seen is the best camouflaged.
So this one and the BOOMSLANG have got the same kind of venom. We call it hemotoxic. Hemotoxic affects the blood clotting mechanism, so you will eventually die from internal and external bleeding.
Wow, I wouldn't have even thought that would be venomous. You just can't even see that without knowing.
Those two actually really bite human beings because they're back-fanged. They have to get a grip on something small like a finger to inject their.
And there's a fair chance we would kill them if they took that long to call it a draw then, shall we? Now, here we are, the daddy.
So this one is the black mamba. So this is the female one, and then that long big one is the male one. So those are the second longest venomous snakes in the world, growing to 4.3 meters after the king cobra. The fastest snake in the world, about 20 kilometers per hour.
That will outrun me.
Definitely. So this one can stand on its tail for about 2 meters the height, so it can look you straight into the eye. A bite from the snake has got enough venom to kill 10 human beings. And it's a continuous striker, striking up to 12 times.
So how long do you have to get to hospital if one of these bites you?
That now depends on the body weight of the person bitten.
Okay.
If you're actually a bigger person, you've got more time because of the fats. They actually help slow down the poison. And it depends on, did you panic? If you panic, your heart starts pumping fast, which means you've got less time. But then small boys like us, most probably 10 minutes from the snake. People die instantly from the snake, depending on where you're bitten. Because they can stand 2 meters high, which they usually hit the upper bodies near the heart.
Okay, I guess that means I'd have a little bit of extra time then. Finally, the one we've been waiting for, the green mamba.
So you can see that one, the shape of the head quite longer, and it's quite coffin shaped. And you can see the eyes are not as big as that of a boomslang. And you can see the color green. It's a beautiful green without any other colors blended within. So those are arboreal. Some really touch the ground. And they're actually venomous, but not as venomous as the black mamba, but still deadly. And they are not as aggressive as the black mamba.
So folks, there we are. Fascinating display of snakes, and there were no European ones, and there's a good reason for that, because they're mostly harmless, and even the adders and things that can bite you in the UK, it's almost impossible to find them unless you're working at the entrance to the Channel Tunnel where they gather around for heat, and the venom, whilst it's unpleasant, it's not going to lay you dead in 30 minutes. Anyway, that's the snake part over. On to the main event, the crocodiles. So here we are, crocodile number one, a Nile crocodile, albino, yes. So no skin colour, yeah.
So you saw the way he turned around,
Yeah.
and came. Crocodiles are the only animals that see people as food.
Okay.
They're the only animals that actually prey on human beings. So when he turned around, I think you're seeing two beef burgers right now.
When he saw me, he probably thought there was a double whopper on the menu. I love the way most of his body is submerged and just that little head poking through the water, waiting patiently for somebody to do something daft and come within reach. But I believe they can actually keep their heads submerged as well, and they can work out where you are and then jump up and grab you. Says there, please do not pass beyond this point. I am going to take that advice. Okay, we didn't see any lions yesterday, but there we are. So they've suddenly awakened from their slumber. He's interested. They can smell the prime mutton. He's not sure he's coming, or well, sorry, she is coming up to say a friendly hello. It's more like probably time for dinner, and thankfully this wire has stopped me being on the menu. And I have to say, I'm backing off it, they are bigger than you think. And it's time for some nosh.
Seems to be hungry, so that's more for him. That's more for her. They're two females.
Yeah.
Yes, 18 years old.
I love the crunching on the bones. The sister has come over because
for female lions, the average lifespan is 17 years.
I mean the way they oh. Oh yeah, you could hear the aggression there.
They're actually sisters. So lions are the only social cats that we have. We live in a group called the pride. Usually the pride consists of females which are related because they do not leave the maternal group. The male is chased away at 3 years to avoid inbreeding and later competition for mating. Those are the lions that become problem lions because they are used to be the mother hunting for them, and then when they're chased away they go near the community and actually prey on livestock. But then when they grow big and strong, they actually also look for another pride where there's an old lion, and then they fight and overtake the pride. And when they find calves less than a year old, they'll kill them so that the females will quickly get into estrus and they can mate and actually inject their own genes into the pride.
Well, there's a bit of that in humans as well. Thankfully, we don't take it to such extreme and violent lengths some of the time, I suppose. Okay, Muttonistas, time for the massive crocodiles.
So those are what we call the Nile crocodiles or the freshwater crocodiles. So crocodiles are actually cannibal. They eat their own. As you see here, this is crocodile tail.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to make them jump to this tail.
And was that crocodile meat the lions were eating?
Yes, it was crocodile, because the lions actually feed them crocodile meat 3 times a week.
So the sound you're making attracts the crocodiles?
Yes, they've got perfect hearing, excellent hearing. As you can see, they're now coming. Three already. And then they submerge themselves. They're trying to sneak up on the meat.
We can see the little telltale bubbles there. Oh, there they are. They've re-emerged.
So we might be having about 4 or 5 under there, submerged.
Okay, I'm standing away from the edge here. Wow, did you see that?
And now here they come. Okay, that was sneaky. That was fast. I didn't see that. So others have had the commotion. You can see that one is now coming. They've had the commotion.
Wow, these are huge, and they're all coming over because they've seen the feeding going on here. Look at that, all waiting patiently, those little buggers. Oh, wow, did you see that?
The sound, crocodiles have got the greatest bite force of all the animals.
Wow, how high did that one go?
You can hear the sound, the bite force.
Oh, he got it, he got it. So why did he then submerge as soon as he got the meat? Was that to stop other crocodiles taking it?
To stop the other crocodiles so that they don't notice. He goes away, he swims away underwater, and then you pop up at the other side so that he can actually swallow.
Ah.
Yes. So they can actually keep the food in the mouth without actually, they've got a flap at the throat. They can close it, keep the food in the mouth, and they can actually swallow it later. And they eat that's more than 100 kgs at once.
Wow, half their body weight.
Half their body weight. But then they can also go for over 6 months without food.
Wow, okay. Well, wouldn't like to meet one when they've been 6 months without a meal.
That we use, and usually the activity is this. They wait for their prey to come to them. So here are 35 years and above. These are our breeders for the eggs. There's a male there.
And in case you're wondering where the natural habitat of these animals is, I've just seen a sign which says Madagascar and Sub-Saharan Africa, and the River Nile, of course. And here's one potential customer lying in wait, but sorry my good man, there's a fence in the way.
It's down here, the cage diving. If you've got the willpower to dive with the crocodiles.
Not really, no.
Opportunity to dive with the crocodiles underwater, to touch them.
Now, 20 years ago, folks, I would have been well up for this, well game for this. You've probably seen pictures, if you've looked hard enough on my social media, of bungee jumping and stuff like that. But I am 51 now, so I might give this one a miss. Chicken. But, viewers, I will show you how it works. There is a cage here, which one lowers oneself into. Do you stay dry in the cage?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It's a scuba diving activity.
Ah, right.
As you can see there, the regulators. So what happens, there's a professional guide which you go with.
Yeah.
The cage is submerged, first at your chest level, and then you get a briefing from the guide on how to breathe using the regulators.
Okay, I do scuba dive, so I understand that bit,
Yes.
yeah.
So once you're now capable of using the regulators and you're comfortable, it is actually lowered all the way down. There is a safety hedge there in case you panic.
Yeah.
You can actually pop
Go
your
up
head
here,
up,
yeah.
and then you can fix yourself.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
There's the safety hatch.
Those are the crocodiles. We've got Bongo and Kiwa.
Okay.
When the cage goes down, they know they're going to get some snakes.
Yeah, okay.
They actually come into the water. They may actually go on top of the cage, so you get an opportunity to touch the belly or actually shake hands as they put their feet through the cage there. So you actually get to feed them under the instruction of the guide.
Okay.
It's a very interesting activity, just $700 per person for 25 minutes.
Well, there you are, Mutanistas. A superb adrenaline activity for those of you who are young enough or game enough. I reckon that's pretty safe, to be honest. I suspect the only danger is needing to pop up for air if there's a problem with the scuba equipment.
That's point.
These are very young.
Yes, these are about 4 to 5 years old. This is the age group where we usually start the slow training. Because the skin is still soft, it will make a nice handbag or a nice belt. When they get older, the skin gets tougher, and usually the bigger ones fight a lot, which means the skin will normally get scratched. So we start harvesting at this age.
Yeah, well, there we are. And I have to say, folks, that crocodile leather for shoes, handbags, belts, wallets and everything, really, really beautiful. If you do come here, do check, because a lot of countries don't actually allow you to import it, so be careful about that. A few more juveniles before we finish. Again, small enough that the bigger ones would just eat them if they were put in the main enclosure. I can see why these crocodiles struggle to survive in African rivers, if apart from any other predators, the adult crocodiles prey on them. I thought for a second this was poo or feces, but so there we go, a mixture of fish and other protein. Do crocodiles eat vegetation or just purely protein?
They do not eat vegetation.
They don't eat vegetation.
It's meat only, any kind of meat.
Okay. When they capture prey, what about the bones and the skin? Do they secrete that?
So what happens actually is, when since they cannot chew and the tongue is attached to the lower jaw, they swallow everything whole. So what happens, they've got 2 chambers in their stomachs, one masculine, which
for the meat, yeah.
For the meat, yes, and the second one is acidic.
To dissolve the bones and...
Yes, and they actually swallow stones also. They actually produce also an alkaline which goes to the base of the stomach so that they themselves cannot be hurt by the acid, and then that's when they produce that acid, which helps into the digestion of bones, hooves, and the leather there.
Okay.
It actually comes out as powder. Hence, the bile is a very, very poisonous.
And how long can they stay submerged for?
Inactive. If they're inactive, they can actually submerge for about 2 hours.
And how do they see underwater?
They've got a second eyelid, like a membrane, which is colorless, which actually closes like this. Isn't
okay.
Yes, it closes as it submerges. It closes so that they can. So it's a membrane, like, which is actually transparent.
Okay, so like a massive contact lens.
Yes, definitely. And the nose will close, and that pouch in the throat there will actually close. The ears will close, so that no water gets into the body.
So, Muttonistas, that was the Victoria Falls Crocodile Park. Absolutely fascinating, the snakes as well, and probably, given that I've been to a few of these around the world, the most informative I've ever seen, and the most interesting feeding as well. Big thanks to Vincent, who showed me around today. I was so lucky because of, the general health situation and the time of the year that I had the place virtually to myself. So come and support this place if you're in the area, folks. It is fascinating. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you for now. Don't forget, like, share and subscribe as always. And don't forget the most important thing, you can't beat a bit of mutton.